just going to go into the van to do a bit of a tour for you. So here she is, looking a little worse for wear. Anyway, oh, and again, that's something else I'm going to have to fix. Fudge it for now. Right, so this is sort of what it looked like before as home. Let's just get the lights on actually. It doesn't feel like home now. That's so weird, isn't it? So last time I did videos on it, people may remember, if you've been following me up to now, that this was my bed across the top there. So things have changed quite a bit, but I will show you. Got both the lights on now. There we go. So this is my lovely Talbot Express, for anybody who's not sure what it is. It's a coach built motorhome. So that's a van chassis, that's the Talbot Express bit, and a caravan back. So that's why it's got such good headroom in here. It's purpose built, and this is an Eldis Autocrest 320 to set the scene. It's from 1991. So technically it's a vintage motorhome, which is why I love it. But it's also got really nice looks. So I will do an outside when I can get outside. But if you go back to the original van tour, there should be some images in there. I'm going to be dragging that out of the archive. Because essentially I've been living in here for 2 years at a place where you're not really supposed to be a resident. So it's been quite difficult to really show people things and sort of also balance trying to do all the projects I want to do with also being a full-time furniture upcycler in a really strange economic time. My health was declining with, mainly a really bad vitamin D deficiency actually, but also perimenopause exacerbating neurodivergency my neurodivergent self. Anyway, my late diagnosis, neurodivergent, so that's what I'm trying to say. So all of that soup made it difficult for me to actually share what I was doing and then eventually just be able to do the project. So the van has suffered as I've sort of declined, and work has been all I've been able to do. The projects have stacked up. The van has needed more and more doing to it, had to have more and more stripped out. And so here we are. It's now my sole focus, which is exciting. I hope I've got the energy and, and the drive to get through those projects now and get it where it wants to be. And to take it out on the road and to do upcycling with people and, generally have adventures instead of being in one place all the time, which is what I've been doing for the last 2 years. It was my lovely little sanctuary, my gorgeous quirky little home. If you look back to the original van tour videos, you'll understand why I chose van life. But I didn't really go very many places in it, and so that's going to change now. That's the plan now. But I need to get something sorted to get it on, to get it more comfortable. It actually, having cleared it up now with a good clean, it's absolutely fine. The engine's great, the water's running, the heater works, etc. But there are just some things that are that need some attention. like the thing outside that's hanging off. I don't think that's going to last too long if I go on a motorway at any point. So I'll show you some of the things I need to do and have a little think about some of the projects that I need to do first while it's here, while it's accessible. Others I might do in time. There might be a quick fix now and a proper. Also, I'm on quite a limited budget because I'm technically on sick leave due to the sort of the stress of it all and the sort of physical problems I've had. Found out that I've got osteoarthritis in my hands, which is great. So I'm sort of resetting and recharging. So it won't be sort of like throwing myself at it hell for leather, working into the evenings and through the night type situation. I'll probably take a project a week or two, that sort of thing. Some of them obviously bigger than that, and they'll take longer than that. And I'm going to just try and do what's essential to start with. But anyway, suck it and see, make it up as you go along, and all that. Go with the flow. So we'll figure it out, won't we? Let's have a little look around. I'll start with the bathroom because that's the major change. That's the one project I did do before I slid off the planet, basically. So here now, I've started using the back of the door for hanging coats. So it's a little bit difficult to see in, so I'm going to pull those out the way. I did used to use sort of over the passenger and the driver's seat at the front for coats, but then I moved to a pitch. So if I just show you there, I used to use right and left. I had some hooks just along the sides, but then I moved to a really nice pitch with a view of the woods, and it was just like this block here and here that sort of blocked my view. So that's changed. So they all hung on the back of here, which means sort of squeezing yourself in, especially with big winter coats. So this is still the original loo, which needs emptying. And I've been back in here since I brought it up from the park, so I need to do that. With a full-size shower tray at the bottom, and that originally would have had a pedestal. You might be able to just about see the diagonal line in the corner, maybe not in this light. I took the lights out of here when I did it up, so that was never sorted. I don't think you can see it, but there was a pedestal that cut across the corner that went in this corner here, and then there was a vanity unit, so it was all one sort of fixed plastic unit. The sink was quite big, it came out to about here, but you can see me actually. The issue with it was all cracked, so it had rivets that decorative rivets that attached it to the wall, and there was split all around them, and the mirror was all foxed, which I could have replaced. That's not the end of the world, but it was just that it would have had to been replaced because the plastic had gone brittle. The weight of people using it had broken it. So I thought, do I buy something vintage to replace it like for like? Well, actually what I decided to do was to open it up, and it's so much bigger without that pedestal, which came up at an angle like this. But check back to the previous videos and you should get an idea of what I meant. I mean, it was quirky, but so I decided to change it around. I'm kind of wishing now that I'd gone for something a bit different, because this sink turned out to be really too small. It drains very, very slowly. See all the toothpaste, this is on a good day. It drains very slowly because it's such a small hole, and if I ever did want to quickly just wet my hair or what have you, well, I'd end up having to do it over there because you couldn't get your head under for this. So this wasn't terribly well designed by me, but I do like this tap with the shower that comes out. That's quite handy. But what I probably would like to do is mount this on a piece of wood with the sink there and the tap to the side of it. So I mean, I'm pretty happy with the panelling that I put in, which is this, I can't remember what it's called. It's got a funny name, hasn't it? Not mermaid. Anyway, I'm sure I can figure it out. But it's like a plastic panelling. There was some damp that had come through from the cassette door, which is the toilet that holds the waste. Essentially, the cassette door is on the outside to pull it out, and the had leaked. Seal had leaked, so there was damp coming at the wall. So this has replaced that. It's sitting on top of the polystyrene. I did a bit of decorating, but it was just some leftover wallpaper that I had, and it doesn't really go. It's a bit loud and a bit I was going to say the Indian restaurant, but I don't know. I mean, Greek restaurant, I'm not quite sure which I mean, but it just feels a bit restauranty to me. And also I've just put it straight over the blown vinyl. As you can see here, it's coming off, so I really needed to prep the surface better for that. And I made this horrendously rudimentary little cabinet here, which I think I will take down as well, and maybe make something a bit better. It was just made out of a couple of old boxes just to hold the essentials, to stop them falling over when we're moving. So a little bit of work to do in here. The key thing is the sink is leaking. So this tap being so big has actually forced, if I can show you, it's actually broken. Which way around can I show you? I don't know if you can see it there, it's actually cracked. And what's happened is a support has been put here and a support has been put there, but underneath there is just pure plastic. So the weight of the tap is actually starting to push through. There you go. So it should have really been, there should have been a block underneath that. So I could fix it and seal it and just to do for now. And often when I'm showering, obviously I've got this in my hand, so it doesn't tend to leak too much. But this has the seals given way here, which does leak. Again, it's only leaking onto a floor which has got drainage, so it's not the end of the world. So it's, you know, but it could be fixed up. I can either do like for like, or I wouldn't mind a flip up sink. But anyway, that's something to think about. Plus I also covered up the holes for the light up here, so I've just got battery lights for now, but and a very wonky plant from driving, obviously. So a little bit of smartening up needed to be done here. I think the ceiling should be done as well, but not too bad. Probably the worst bit of the bathroom after the sink is the bathroom door. This is all swollen with the moisture, so I think maybe I have to if I can take that off and put a new board on the back. That might be something I need to do. Coming to the outside, let's just put you down there. Okay, so you can see the start of my adventures in refinishing the interior, which only got so far. I was definitely running on empty at this point, so I did 2 doors, expecting to do all the rest. That didn't happen. In fact, you can see I've started to look at replacing handles. So this is what I'm going to do all the way around. I've commissioned myself now. I do think there's something to be said for keeping these authentic. However, this is laminate. Just literally sticky back plastic, actually. Typically for keeping the weight down, this is just really, really thin, and then the edges are thick. So keeps the weight down, but it's not wood. And the problem I had with mine was I was going to have to buy, again, like the vanity sink, vanity unit sink thing, when you've got bits of it that are struggling a bit, like that there, you can see some of it's come off, and some of it's peeling here and here. That's all struggled because of heat and damp, and then some of them have obviously start to go on the inside. It's gone on the inside, that's totally gone. You know, you can replace these, and I have actually looked to replace them, but I guess I've started the job now, and they do look good, don't they? They look pretty smart. So I've used Fusion mineral paint on those. I've used I used the Fusion Ultra Grip on them because they're laminate, but some of them I've had to peel back, so I've left some of it as the laminate, because these two were damaged as well. Some of it is the laminate, and then some of it are peeled back and then are primed. But I'm not happy, if you get really close up, I'm not happy with the finish. I just think it's a bit rough, and they probably need top coating. So they need to be, these will be redone, the others will be done. They're in better condition, so they can be primed and painted. A little bit of filler on some of them, I can see there. This is, I've got bits of filler all over the van. It just stayed like that for, like, I don't know, months. So that will be sorted as well. And I was going to sort of deal with some of these edges here, but whether I put a different type of worktop on, whether I put a laminate on, there's a hole there. I did start to paint the walls behind me, as you can probably see, which is the same colour, which I think is really nice and fresh and looks good with the black, because it's like a warm white called cashmere, which I really like, and I happen to have quite a bit of. So I am on a budget at the moment, but I've got plenty of that. So I can do the ceilings, the walls, the cupboard doors. I've got these handles. They were from my friend Alison, who's another furniture painter. She had some leftover handles, so I've got enough of those to do them in black for the upper cabinet doors. And I might do push catches. In fact, I did install one down here. So many half-finished projects that we just set you up. Down here, you'll see a push catch door, which I'm quite pleased with. So you can get them that don't click, but I just happen to have a whole load of these from a project that I got for a customer, and then I thought, I think it'll drive them mad, I'll get something else. So I've got a whole bunch of clicky ones, and I don't mind. So it's got quite a strong magnet on it and gives it a nice flush sort of look. So the other idea was, do you replace all these fronts with just flat wood? But again, I think the problem with that would be the weight, because that is literally really, really thin, about 2-3 mil, maybe 4 max. And then you've just got these thick edges so that the screws for the fittings will go through. So obviously I'll have to have a hand on that, because these drawers are really heavy. So the idea is that I'll do the top cabinets in this cream. Back to the decorating. The top cabinet's going to be cream with the black handles, and the base cabinets are actually going to be this colour here, which is a sort of, it's a mix of 2 colours, but it's a really kind of warm dark grey. So that's the bathroom door. That's the, and I've prepped this really badly. This is the wardrobe door, and I made a bit of a mess of some of this. I was trying to take this stuff off, and I've made a bit of a mess of it, so I've got some tidying up to do. This is the problem with having ADHD. When your patience isn't quite as... sometimes it's amazing, and then other times it's like, I just want it done yesterday. So that's the wardrobe, as you can see there. And you've got like a bit of a thing underneath there that goes behind the fire that you can use for storage. So the fire's down there. We can see it. Funky little fire. So those are going to be dark, and then the idea is that the whole, it will just sort of blend in a bit better with the dark of the top of the fridge and the oven, and that will all sort of look quite neat and tidy, because I think if I did all that cream it would drive me mad, because you can see you can track stuff in here really easily and it would just pick up all the muck. So I think you need something a little bit forgiving. So at the bottom of these cabinets there's the oven, the gas fire, which I think is really dinky, so I've kept that as original. A lot of people have them replaced with like Chinese diesel heaters. I wouldn't mind having one inside there, but for now that's staying. It's also got a vent that comes out down there, which is what that trunking was for that you saw at the beginning. So I'm going to restore these things, because, you know, you'll think I'm absolutely bonkers with all the work that is to be done, but some of these things have to go back if I want to sell it. So some of these jobs have to be done to sell it, and some of these things need to be put back to how they were. This is why I'm glad I got the table. This is why I'm glad I got the original planks for the van as well, which create the extra bed at the bottom here. More on that in a second. So yes, dark, which I think looks good, don't you think? Do you like it? And this panel here may be dark, I don't know. We shall see, because obviously you've got all of this under here as well. And then I might replace these rails, so a little bit twiddly looking, if you see. So there's one on either side, and then you've got obviously these uprights here. So all this has got to be done. My thinking is this will be my first job, get this done, which means I'll take all of these into the house, and then I can sand these back bits and paint them. Probably there is stuff in them still. A lot of stuff's ended up inside, but obviously I lived in here for 2 years, so there's still a lot of stuff. I can either empty them or maybe put some bags on the inside. Depends on how lazy I'm feeling. So that might be the first job, is to get that done. Yeah. So where next? Where next? I guess, well, there's so many things. Now I'm overfacing myself. Maybe I should just stop there. But anyway, I replaced the floor from the original van tour. If you noticed, the carpet was absolutely disgusting. If I share the video of that, you'll get to see. I did actually have carpet down during the winter. This wasn't enough. I had a piece of offcut of carpet on top. Something again I might consider if I'm out again in a lot this winter. Depends where I'm going to be. The lino's great for practicality, but it's not very warm, so more insulation. I also do, on that subject, have a bit of an issue down here. Let's just get the table out of the way. Oh, I haven't shown you my table. But if I stand here, and it will bounce because it's a motorhome, but this bit here is very, very springy, and it I think the floor has delaminated. Can you stay with me? Which means the layers of wood have started to sort of move apart, and so you get this sort of springiness. Can you see that squidgy under my foot? You just see that moving in the light. So there is a technique to shore that up by drilling holes, which I think I'm going to have to do. But that is, yeah, it's quite a big job, and it's not going to happen instantly. I want to get, you know, get some of this essential stuff done first. And that's that. Yes, my little swingy table, which, if anybody's familiar with caravans and motorhomes, particularly motorhomes actually, you'll have heard of maybe a Lagan table leg, which is like it allows you to reposition your table different heights, and you can sort of fold it away as well. Well, I couldn't afford one of those. But somebody was throwing out this table which came on a base, and it had a leg. I think it's an IKEA one. It's sort of like an arrow shape. I think it's down here actually, because I kept it. So I may have to do something with this. I don't know where it is actually. Yeah, it is down here. So if I could come up with a better tabletop, I could get rid of the caravan table, maybe. So it comes with this, which I kept just in case. So this is actually one of my masking tape design demo boards that I used to use on one of my classes. So it would actually go like this. And a lot of caravans and motorhomes have holes in the floor, don't they? So it's alright once it's in. I think there's a bolt that goes up through the inside, but what I've mounted on it isn't particularly. It does also have a position where you can drop it down, which is great, but I'm not quite sure what I'd use that for. So maybe along the way, when I've got a bit more money in the kitty, I could get a proper lagan table leg, because you can move the table across to be a table in the middle for two. You can spin it round. But my budget and fixed version of this, I think, has been quite good. I mean, that's not too bad, is it? It's got quite a thin top and it's a bit flimsy, but if I came up with a better top on it, what we're doing. So if I just take that out there, so you will laugh, or well, I will laugh. So it can move up and down in height. Literally have installed pipe, what do you call it, pipe supports. I don't know if you can see them down there. I'll show you. So it slides through two of them down the side of this thing here, and then you can use it to, so I would sit, use my laptop, have my breakfast, and then watch my telly over there. My telly's on the wall. It's actually a laptop. And my laptop, because it's a fold back laptop, on the wall. Yoga, I think is a Lenovo Yoga. So there you go. That was what I would do. And obviously I can go a bit different heights. Move it out the way, use it there for surface prep. You can move it up and use it for surface prep. But what I also did was, this was all my crazy inventions and how I ended up, part of how I ended up burning myself out because I couldn't manage it all, was I created these pull-outs. And the idea was, I got this from a motorhoming account I follow. I'll have to dig out who it is. And they pull out, and then you put your cushions on top. So like this. So I'd actually have that in a cover, but I think I've taken all the covers off now. Pulled everything apart really. And so if you had one on either side and they met each other in the middle, which that one doesn't at the moment because of what I've done to it, you could obviously have your bed. You just need 4 of them. You can have a double bed. But you can just have one out and use it to put your feet up, you see, because it is a bit like waiting for a bus sitting on a motorhome with 2 couches like mine. So I can do this and watch TV, which is quite nice. Use it as a little table, but I never got much further than my prototypes, which just sort of sat there. And I think in other motorhomes they have like proper built-in versions where you can actually get into the locker through that thing, whereas mine are like sitting in front of the lockers, which is a bit annoying, so I'd have to slide them out the way. So in an ideal world, I'd love to have the tops built properly so that they pulled out, but when they were pushed in, you could actually just pull a little section of it down like a door. So if anybody's a woodworker and would love to work on it with me, we'll collaborate, we can skill swap or something. I would love help with that because it's just too precise for me. That's the kind of measuring and cutting and constructing that's, you need somebody who knows what they're doing, or somebody who knows what they're doing working with you. So I've got 2 of them, and so yeah, I can move them around like this, and then pull them over, and then what I was doing latterly, because the bed is fucked up there, was I'd have 2 out like this, and then I'd take the cushion off the back here. Of course that's what they're for. This is on the backrest, and I put it down there, and I made myself a slightly larger single to sleep down here. So what it actually came with was a set of planks. So these sort of things. Which I've tried tried to get rid of several times, but I'm glad I've kept them for now because they're original, obviously. And again, the selling I was mentioning. So those would slide, these rails here that they sit on. It would sit here, nearly fills the whole aisle, gangway, walkway, I don't know. And then you take the other backrest and you can make a massive double down here. But these are just really hard to work with, so hence having some pull-out planks, all those things that I've created there, it just feels more useful, more manageable. And also you've got to store these somewhere, of course, don't you? Store them down the front there. But yeah, they're a pain, and they also add to the weight. So this is a solution, but it's not got there yet, and it's not essential at this point. So let's just get that back in place. So that's those. So that's why my bottom lockers. Oh, actually, I didn't show you. These are the table supports. So they're literally pipe. I don't know what they're called. You know, that holds pipes, like plumbing pipes. I mean, so I could do that, and then I could take that off there. Put it in over here, depending on where my view is, and then I can sit on this side. See? So really, you just need a holder for it, like a lagon holder there, maybe one on each side if you've got the budget. And if you had a tabletop that had the support on it, because I don't think this has got the weight, you could even have an open out one, couldn't you? So on this one, I quite like because I can decide over here. So, you know, I had great fun with these things, but I just never had the capability to see the projects through to completion in a really nice polished finished way, because I was trying to do too much. I was trying to create these very complex, perfect pieces of furniture for people, and run a business, and manage staff, and and I was trying to video it all and share it all with you. And that's when my brain just went, oh, I can't do all this. So now, let's just do these things, because these are the things that excite me. So, yeah. So if anybody knows anybody out there who would love to, has got some, you know, some skills and would love to work with me on this stuff, I would love to get on the road, come and see you. I'll cook you a meal, or I can upcycle something with you, and you can help me, because I don't think I can do it by myself. I can do the bits I can do, but I'm definitely going to need some help, because it does sort of overface you, and then you don't start at all. But yeah, these are my little inventions. The other thing I've got to really focus on to make the place feel more habitable and happier is the upholstery. I had an absolute disaster with the seat covers, so they've just got replacement ones on at the moment. And again, this is where I've started and stopped with the projects, and not really. I covered everything with these duvet covers originally, and it looked fine, but over time, there's what actually inside with the film. Over time, as you go along, you know, you change things and you realise. And when these were on all the benches, I realised actually it made the place look darker. And it looked, as soon as I took these off to put in the wash, I'd look at the original upholstery and think, oh my god, it just suddenly looks bigger. So I do think something lighter. And actually, there's nothing wrong with them. You know, it's quite a funky print. It's a little bit bus seaty. Let me show you a bit more close up. So excuse the dog's bits. So it's a little bit bus seaty. That was the fabric I had before, which I never finished either. I used some duvet covers to make those. So I'm still going to keep those, I think, to make and cover the cushions that are going to sit up there that will fold out to make the new bed that's up there. But anyway, this is what it looks like. See, it's not too bad. It's kind of geometric, isn't it? But it does pick up the dirt. So what I thought I'd do is I'd try and dye it. Can you see there's a couple of attempts there? That was with black dye, would you believe? So it's obviously mixed fibres, so it didn't really like it. And I think that would be a bit violent across the whole of 2 full benches. However, a little too late to say that, because I did actually go ahead and dye this one, which is a real shame, because I kind of wished I hadn't. I wished I'd maybe used like a stone wash or something on these to see what they came out like. So I've now got myself in a bit of a state where they don't match. Plus, because these are created incredibly tightly, I've actually split the back, so I'd have to create a new back for them. They're just so hard to get on, and especially when I've been going through sort of issues with my mobility and my strength over the last sort of 18 months. I couldn't hack it, so I'm doing that to them. So I mean, a lot of people with motorhomes and caravans are using this sort of shine loose covers, as in, you know, the Chinese website. But I want to do something a bit more finished, and you know, it's a done up van. You know, should I be using old fabrics? I've managed to salvage a lot of fabrics from the van. You know, there's still old fabrics like this. I've got some bits from the original pads that were up there. I've got some from some of the curtains as well. You know, so you can get a bit too puritanical about it, but at the same time, I don't want some sort of stretchy polyester crap. I mean, it can really make something look good straight away, but I think if I can use some of the original things. So let's try and get these sorted. So the problem I had with the seat covers was accidental. I had a really bad moth infestation in here, and which was devastating really, because you can probably see behind me. Oh, I look really tired in this view. That metal there shouldn't be on view. This has all had to be ripped out. So I still got the fascia piece that just pushes back in, but I had to get right in behind it all and check that there wasn't any wool insulation up there that the moth could eat. That meant taking all the carpet off these end pieces here, so this was carpeted. So I mean, it should be fairly easy for me to recover these, that's fine. But in the process of taking all of that out, I also had to take out the floor and all of the coverings of the seat bases. And I thought, oh, I better get inside the seats just in case they're in there. And in the process of that, obviously finding quite a lot of stuff they'd eaten, put the seat covers in a bag and accidentally threw them away. So a bit gutted about that, because they would have cleaned up and been fine. So I'm actually going to see if I can get replacement seat covers or replacement seats at some point. That's something else I need to do. Especially because, what's that? Maybe a squirrel trying to get in. Because currently they are not properly secure, so that's something that probably needs sorting sooner rather than later. And I may have to go to maybe a scrapyard. I keep looking on Facebook Marketplace and eBay for seats, but I'm just going to try and put this down. Just some massive eye bags in that one then. Why is it not standing up? So yes, for the seats I may have to replace them completely. Now, I wouldn't mind some captain seats that spin round, because that would be quite a nice sort of very social thing, and plus the backs kind of get in the way. These come off if you've got a bit of a view, which is quite good, but again, it seems such a waste. So do I take the time to actually recreate new covers for them? Because I've still got the foam, I've still got the bases, etc. But how many jobs, you know? So we'll see. You can put other car seats in, so I might go to a scrap merchant's, see if I can get a couple of seats not too expensively, because they're £100 plus on Marketplace and eBay, which I just don't have the budget for right now. So it might be a question of going somewhere a little off beaten track and seeing what I can find. In terms of up top, this is probably the job I should tackle first. In fact, I probably should tackle it first. Find out what's what. I'll show you. So I'll just shift this. This is my bag full of DIY stuff for the van that sort of accumulated over time. So there's the paint pots. And that's the paint I used for the cabinets. And what the rest of it is. Anyway. Yes. So, lots of stuff in there. So as I said, these covers that I used before, That is actually wet. Is it actually wet? Oh, I think I'll just put that bag on it. The bottom of that's wet. That's alright, I think so. Oh, you do get panicked about things being damp in vans like this. I've definitely got some problems on these panels here on the outside. I can see it coming through. So there's treatment that needs to be done to the metalwork outside, to the trims, all that needs sorting as well. But, you know, some things are more important than others. You know, I'd love to give it a whole new paint job and a done-up van design, but that's a nice to have at the end, isn't it? So, the festival hat. What we've got up here, these are my bits of foam. These were saved from the original board that went across here, which again I saved the fabric from. That's off the, I keep wanting to say oven. Fire, from the gas fire. So that's that trunking that moves the heat into the main vat. Doesn't really do very much. But, so that's one of the long covers. So I'm keeping all these because I think what we're going to have up here is have it stacked back with the foams, and then you can just pull it forward and make the bed. I had it set up as a bed all the time, most of the time I've lived in it, till this problem was discovered. And it was very comfy, and it was great to have a bed separate. It was sad not sleeping with the dog, or the dogs at the time, 2 dogs. And then when I got the one dog, it became a bit more like, oh, I feel sorry for him sat down there on his own, because they used to sleep on a bench each, on a couch each. So then I'd sleep down here with Albie at the weekends, make up the bed, and keep this, and then I'd put a proper mattress up there. But a proper mattress was quite high. I was a bit too close to the roof, and when I started to have to strip it out for the moth issue, I took the mattress out. Luckily I was able to store it in the back of my car, and again, like the seat covers, I went, wow, it just looks so much bigger an area, and I had the plants there, and I was like, wow, just the light, it opened up, and I thought, yeah, that's what I'm gonna leave it like that, so it's sort of fold down when you want it. I also removed, and you can see up there, the more filler up there. You probably see it. There was a curtain rail up here, so you pulled the curtains across to make it private. And again, I mean, they were quite chunky, so they came out to about here. And also you had little curtains over the windows as well, which I've actually replaced on like a net wire and just like thin black cotton, which was actually a pillowcase that I cut up. Because they kept coming off the hooks every time you moved around on your pillow, they just pop off. And again, it added more bulk and blocked out more light. So I've still got them. I've kept those actually instead of throwing them away. So this was it's on 2 tracks, like so, which is it's starting to come apart. So that needs sorting. But I don't sleep up there, so it's okay. This is the fascia for the front, which hopefully is, I'm trying to get what to snap it. So that, the reason it's out and not gone back in, because it could easily have gone back in, is this has got pressed wool fibres in it, if you can see, and I may need to go around with the treatment actually again. This was the sort of thing that the moths were having a good eat on, because it's made out of like I say, fabric fibres. So I was going to encapsulate it with something so that they couldn't get through and eat it. This is the first time actually that I've had a look at this since I stopped using it. It looks like it's dried out quite well. Wow, that paper's damp though. Some wallpaper there and it's quite damp. And so is the box. So this is the more cushions, more things. This is the thing that I made that fit in there, and I haven't got the supports on because I had to strip it all out, and that fit in there, and then the mattress was on top. So this came from the original piece that used to sit on top, which I cut into a shape like so. Again, for lightweight purposes, it's not actually solid. That's a bit damp. Yeah, not like where I put that bag actually. So you can see it's polystyrene there towards the end. So it's polystyrene sandwich. So that could stack back against there. A couple of foam mattresses, and then you've got your bed to pull down. This is the fascia off here. Isn't it sad having to pull it apart like this? You know, and that's why by the end of it, when I was starting to lose my mind, this was just one great big to-do list, and all the things that were wrong with it were just crowding in on me. So I must stay just one task at a time and not let this overwhelm me now. So that would have gone in somewhere like that. Oh, I guess it's probably relaxed a bit since I've been out of it. And then these were the supports that I put in place for the thing to rest on. So the problem I've got up here, and you can still see it, I wanted to check on it actually, is you can see it there in the corner, can't you? The damp. You can see, there we go. So that's with where I've pulled the paper off. And as you can see, I mean, the dark bit is fresh, and then it's sort of running up to just in the corner there, higher than the curtain. The other side, and it may simply be because of the direction of the rain, it's about the same, but it hasn't been coming through there as recently. You can still see it's a bit wet, and it does go. Let's just move this plant. Someone might have to come in the house soon. So that's dried out at that side. But the issue is that this will have come into the supports for this piece here. So there'll be hardwood supports that run inside the metal shell that this is attached to, and they could have rotted because of the water coming in. I've been told by asking around on the motorhome groups that it's pinholes in the metal outside, or it could actually be coming through the trim. It could have failed because it has screws that attach the trim. So that's a really big job for a really small person. But you know, that is why I stopped sleeping up there. So I never went back up there after that. So I got to get in there. So this has all got to be unbolted, taken out to see what we're left with. And once I start doing that, it starts to then become, I think, potentially, well, it may be off the road for a while till that's put back together. I don't know. Anybody who's done that sort of thing before, if you're watching, you can give me your opinion. I don't know, because obviously underneath that you've got what's outside the van. You've got the overcab bed has the metal skin as well, so presumably I can take this out and it won't affect the outside. I don't know. There are videos and I will be looking at them. There's a very nice man in one of the groups who's pointing me at his videos where he did it. It is a big job, and it may need more than one pair of hands to get a piece of wood in there. I can maybe hope that this piece is okay and can be reused, but we shall see. So this is where we're up to. Am I brave enough to rip all that out tomorrow and start there and seeing what I've got, or do I want to find somebody who will lend a hand and help me do that? Because yeah, it might be a bit too much for me, I don't know, physically to get that piece of wood in there and, you know, to do the logistics of it. But I suppose there's something to be said for not starting all the decorative nice stuff until you've got the basics right and you've bottomed out some of these problems, because, you know, I can see behind some of the wallpaper on the walls down here that there may be a bit of damp too. So in a way, figuring that as I go along here, aren't I? It would be better to strip back all the walls, find out what you've got, sort it out before you start doing anything decoratively, don't you think? I mean, that's why the decor of this place has kind of sputtered forward and stopped and started, because each time I've done something, I've found something wrong. And obviously I ran out of steam as well, so yeah, there's quite a lot to do. And you might think I'm mad, but I love this van and I've loved living in it, and I need to go and have adventure in it. You know, it's daunting. Even just the going out and taking it onto the road and being out on the road a lot in it is a bit, but I was like that when I first drove it. I was like literally cacking myself. It was so hard stopping. The first time I had to do the jump the engine, jump the battery to get it going, jump start the battery, that's it. And I did it, and now I love driving it. You know, I just love being up there. In fact, get back into my car and I'm like, ooh, doesn't feel right. So I'm excited for the adventures, but I just, yeah, some things need to be sorted first to make it comfortable. Oh, I forgot to mention I want to do stuff to the countertops and around the sink as well, but hey ho. I think we'll leave it there. But yeah, quite a bit to do, eh? But this is about the journey. It's not about the destination. You know, we'll always be a work in progress. This van will always be a work in progress. So it's about enjoying that process, and the fact that I can start to do it now, and that I've been dreaming of doing, you know, for 2 years. So yeah, let's see what tomorrow brings.